Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. New Year's upon us. It's here. Let's get there. Let's get to the games. I think every one of us is freaking ready for this already. This has been one heck of a Bears offseason. This video itself, a lot of you don't realize. First of all, boom. Thanks. 7,500 subscribers. I wouldn't have imagined a year ago we'd hit 7,500. Thank you all for tuning in, for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed by now, I promise you're going to get some good content. Hit that little button. It's worth it. All right, so this is a video I started doing last year. This channel really didn't take off. I really didn't start making actual videos until the end of November, beginning of December. And this is something I did on Reddit threads and on different places where I made my predictions. Started making these videos before anybody started tuning into the channel. This channel started picking up right around the offseason, after the Super Bowl, when the #1 pick was being considered, if we were going to trade Justin Fields, if we were going to take Caleb Williams, if we were going to get the haul, what was going to happen. So this channel picked up after that. That's really when this started picking up. So a lot of you probably haven't seen these before. I don't do in-depth analysis on this video. All I do is I do my predictions. It's kind of a way for me to log it. You'll see how I did last year. And then at the end of the video, I put my parlay down. I do a parlay. I live literally a few blocks away from one of the casinos here in Vegas, one of the nicer ones too. And I go down and I just put a $10 parlay. I do not advocate for sports gambling. I'm not a big fan. You guys know those giant casinos are big for a reason. The sports books are rich for a reason. They're taking your money. I think it's just a fun way for me to be involved with the season, to make my predictions. If you win one of them, it covers my whole season. I don't always win one every season. Last year I did win one. I got one of my parlays. That was it. So gambling is just, if you don't have the money, don't do it. So I'm not advocating. In fact, I turned down a sponsorship for this channel to do gambling because I don't want to promote it or push it. But I do that in this video. So you'll see my parlay. It's $10. So it's nothing big. It's not going to break my bank. And I don't want anybody to be taking, gamble at your own risk. Do your own thing. Anyways, I'll get into this. I go through it fairly quickly. There's not a lot of analysis on this one. I just give my predictions. I appreciate all you guys tuning in. But let's go over how I did last year first. And then we'll get into each prediction of each game, and we'll just run through them real quickly here. So here's week 1, off and running, and we've got, last season I was 176 and 96, so 65% correct. Not horrible, but not as good as you'd want to be. About 2/3 of my picks were correct. That's not bad. I'm okay with it. I'd like to do a little better this season. So these will fill in as we go along in the season. Last week, correct upset picks. I make upset picks every week, usually 2 or 3. And this week I do, I think, 5 or 6. So first week, Thursday Night Football is an upset. I'm starting with an upset. A lot of people don't realize the Ravens have owned the Chiefs lately and in the seasons. And so I've got a close game, but I do have the Ravens with the additions they made pulling off the upset 27-23. So #1 right off the gate. And these odds right here, this -3.5, that's from the Vegas sports books. You'll see different things as you go along from ESPN or different outlets. These are from the Vegas sports books. So Philadelphia Eagles 2.5-point favorite for the Sao Paulo Brazil game. I got the Eagles winning this one handily. Maybe the Packers come back at the end, 31-23. But the Eagles are going to win that game, cover the spread easily. So 31-23, Eagles over the Packers. A lot of you guys know I'm not a fan of the Packers on this channel. I think they're frauds, and I think they're going to be exposed. Another one of my upset picks, we're getting into the Sunday games now. The Falcons are favored by 3 points with a new system there. A lot of new additions, but the Steelers, a lot of changes as well. I have the Steelers coming in and still upsetting them 17-16. I do think that will be a very close game. 17-16 is my prediction for the Steelers to beat the Falcons in Atlanta. All right, Cardinals, Bills, 5.5-point spread. That's a pretty big spread. I do have the Bills winning that game. I think it'll be a little more of a defensive battle than people realize. But I do have them winning 24-19. That doesn't cover the spread, but most games are within 7 points. Most games aren't blowouts. A lot of people don't realize that. Most games, even if it's a far superior team, I do think the Cardinals' defense is improved, though, and they've got Marvin Harrison Jr., so that'll be interesting to see. All right, the Bears and everything they've overhauled. I'm going to do a video very soon about the Bears and their defense at the end of the year last year, but I got the Bears winning easily, 30-13. It'll start off with the defensive side, and then the offense will click as the game goes along. I think the end of the first quarter, into the second half, the Bears will really be clicking and really look good on offense. So I've got the Bears winning that one easily, 30-13. Bengals, Patriots. I don't have the spread being covered here. That's a huge spread, 9.5 points, but I do have the Bengals winning 24-16. 8 points is still a substantial win in the NFL, so I see that one being an easy win, but I do see the Patriots putting up a little bit of a fight. Jacoby Brissett's going to start that game. He has experience. It would be a little different if Drake May was a starting quarterback. As we know, starting quarterbacks don't always win their first game. Colts and Texans, a lot of people don't realize that last game of the year last year, the Colts, if they would have won, they would have won the division. So I've got the Colts winning this one, upsetting the Texans. Doesn't have a knock on the Texans. That doesn't mean I think low of the Texans. Close game, 27-26. But the Colts are a really good, solid team, and they didn't change a lot. And I see the Colts coming out really strong to start the year. Dolphins, Jaguars. Dolphins are favored by 3. I see them winning this one easily over the Jaguars, 27-19. It's in Miami. Easy game for them. 27-19 is my prediction on that one. All right, we move on to the... Hold on, I got to load the next one. Boom. All right, Panthers at Saints. Low-scoring game in my opinion. 4.5-point spread. I don't think that spread will be covered. It'll be close. It'll be a low-scoring game. 16-13. Not impressed with either of these teams this year. I don't think either of them are going to have a shot at winning the division. In fact, I think they'll finish 3-4 in the division. And poor Bryce Young, poor Panthers. I do think they improved. I don't think they improved enough. 16-13. Vikings go into the New York Giants. 1.5-point underdog are the Giants at home, and I don't think they cover that. I have the Vikings winning 24-22. They'll go into New York and win that game. I think it'll be a close one. I think the Giants are going to be okay this year, but probably max out at 5, 6, 7 wins. Which by okay, that's not okay, but not terrible, not 3-win team. Raiders going into the Chargers. A lot of people don't realize Gardner Minshew played really well last year. He'll start off the year with a defense that actually is really, really stacked. So I like the Raiders going in. The Chargers have a lot of turnover, a lot of change, and those receivers have to get up to speed. I think the Chargers will win between 6 and 8 games, but I don't think they'll win this first one, even though it's at home. I think that's one of my upsets. I think the Raiders will win that game. Broncos at Seahawks. This is one of the bigger upsets I picked. Bo Nix going into Seattle. So both Caleb and Bo can win their first game, which doesn't ever happen for rookie quarterbacks. This is one of my more bold predictions. I do have the Broncos upsetting the Seahawks in Seattle. That will be big. If I call this one right, that'll be big. All right, Cowboys going to the Browns. Cowboys are getting no respect. I don't understand that their defense is still stacked. So I have this as one of my upset games. I don't think the Browns are terrible. I don't think the Browns are going to make the playoffs this year. And I do think the Cowboys will make the playoffs. 28-19, I think they handle them pretty easily. So that's my prediction on this one. 28-19 Cowboys. Not a huge Cowboys fan, but I do think they'll handle that game and win it just fine. Commanders at Buccaneers. I think this will be a closer game than people realize. 21-19, though I do have the Buccaneers ending up winning the game still. Not going to be an easy game. I think it will be one of those back-and-forth games, and I think Jaden Daniels will have a fine career. He'll have a fine first game. It'll be fun to watch. That'll be a fun one to tune in for to see how that shakes out. But I do think the Buccaneers will be able to handle them at home. All right, get to Sunday night's game. Rams at Lions in Detroit. I don't think Detroit's even going to have a problem with that game. I think Detroit handles them easily. 34-20. Detroit is stacked both offensively and defensively on the line of scrimmage. Probably the best offensive line, one of the best defensive lines in the entire league. So I think they handle this game pretty easily. 34-20 is my prediction on that one. And then last but not least, we get to the Monday night game. The Jets at the Niners. Jets going all the way across the nation. A lot of people don't realize that. Niners coming off last year's Super Bowl loss. I think the Niners are going to be fine. They still have some things to handle within house, but I think they're going to be fine. 28-17. I have the Niners beating the Jets pretty easily. Hear about the things about Aaron Rodgers not being a team player. I don't know how much those things are true. I still, even without that, I don't think the Jets are going to beat the Niners in Levi Stadium. Standings are all square, just like Matt Eberflus talked about. Every team is 0-0. Doesn't matter if you're favored to win the Super Bowl or favored to get the number 1 overall pick. Every team as it stands right now is square, 0-0. So every team has an opportunity to come out the gate and see what they can do. We'll update this each week as we go along, but every team right now, 0-0. All right, so here's my parlays. This is what I told you guys I would involve and show you. I do this every year. I do it every week. I usually pick about 6 things. The last 2 on here are my most bold ones. I like to do the earlier games so I can see how I did and get it over with. I only do $10. Again, I am not advocating sports betting. I'm not trying to say go out and do it. I probably shouldn't even put this on here, but it's something I like to track for me, and that's really why I started these videos, for fun. I've got the Eagles beating the Packers on the money line. That just means, for those who don't know, that just means they'll beat them. So the odds are less. You see negative 145 because they're favored anyways. So they're going to beat them. I got the over on the Ravens-Chiefs game, 46.5 points. So there needs to be 47 points for me to win that one. And on a parlay, for those that don't realize what a parlay is, you have to get all 6 of these things right to win it. If I lose any one of them, the ticket is void. I lose. Do not win. $10 gone. Boo-hoo-hoo. I got the Dolphins beating the Jaguars on the spread. So that means they need to win by at least 3 points. They need to win by 4, really, to be able to cash out the ticket. I got the Bears winning by 4.5, so the Bears need to win by at least 5 points for me to win. I got the over of 40.5 on the New England Patriots and the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, that might sound crazy with the Patriots because they could put up a goose egg, but really, if you think about it, that's only the Bengals scoring 28 and the Patriots scoring 13. It could be a 28-13 game to be able to get the over on that 40.5. So I went with it. That one's a little sketchy to me. We'll see if it pulls out. And then the most difficult one, the Falcons are favored at home, and I got the Steelers beating them. With the Steelers offensive line, this one's shaky, but I always do throw one that's not a favorite in there. You can see it's a plus 130 on the right-hand side, so you can see that one's not in my favor to win it. So I got a plus 130 there. The Steelers need to win. Doesn't matter if it's by 1 point. Doesn't matter. Steelers win, and I win $495.55. So last year, spent $180 in bets, $10 on each week of the season. I won one of them. I won 1 week. Parlays are not easy to hit, guys. So maybe someone's a genius out there and they hit them all the time. But I'll track them through here. If I win one, then I win basically the whole season times 3. So I'll win my earnings times 3 for the whole season, or times 2 because, the money that was wasted on the losing bets. But I'll spend $180 this year. If I win the first week, I get $495.55. So it'll be in the bag and it'll be good. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know what you think about some of your predictions. Go through, actually, if you want to, go through every game as well in the thread. Put down who you think will win. If anybody gets every one of them exactly right, I'll send you a prize. We'll have a winner for that. If you don't want to, you don't have to. I mean, it's pretty hard to do that. I mean, think about 6-game parlay. That's hard. Do every single game. It's almost impossible. Excuse me. But if you want to, put it down in there. Let me know what you think I got right. What you think I got wrong. What you think are some obvious upsets that I might not have hit on. What you think are some upsets I was wrong on. Any of your comments. I like to interact on these ones because nobody knows. The games are going to be played for that reason. The new year starts out, and there's always a team that goes from worst to first every single time. Dabears should be that team this year. Could be the Bengals. I mean, there's a lot of different teams that could pull that out. There's 8 teams that were worst in their division. They could go first. So let me know your thoughts as we head into the season. This is going to be a lot of fun. With that, claws up, bear down, Dabears.